Conundrum facing society. Crime figures, excluding online fraud, show crime is falling. Yet televisions, as you've just seen, show that Britain is quite literally aflame, even outside Downing Street. The crimes of individual criminals seem to be less frequent, but the disorder of groups more common. And this has taken us back to an older, more dangerous world where gangs control the streets and armed bands possess certain parts of the country. It would be familiar to a time traveller from the Middle Ages or even from the 18th century England, but it has not been true in modern times in this country. So you may be less likely to be burgled, but city centre tumults are becoming weekly, sometimes it seems even daily events. From Hare Hills to Southport to Southend to Manchester to Kent. I'm not exaggerating when I say Britain is aflame. Crime of a particular evil is unravelling across the country. It's crime with no particular community, no cause, just a general sense of disorder and a loss of control, a loss of that pea-light understanding that we are the police and the police are us. And at times like this, one can only hope that the police are doing what they were set up to do, to deter crime. But no. A new Metropolitan Police recruitment campaign seen on the Tube shows a force that has lost its sense of purpose. The advert reads, "You've stopped someone carrying a large amount of drugs. He's just a teenager. He's exhausted and scared. He's broken the law, but maybe he really needs your help. So how do you get him talking?" This is social worker-style policing. It turns criminals into victims. It poses crime as a mental health problem caused by external factors, removing the consequence of free will from those who victimise others and commit crime. This is a top-down phenomenon. It's not a rogue recruitment campaign, but the belief genuinely held by our elite that the solution to crime is to be nicer to criminals. The commentariat genuinely believes we should have Norwegian-style holiday camp prisons and that significant numbers of prisoners shouldn't be behind bars. You may recall Mothin Ali, the Green Party councillor in Leeds, who let out this deranged battle cry upon his election earlier this year.
Raise the voice of Palestine! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
But in fairness to Mr. Ali, he was seen at the riots trying to calm them down. However, when addressing a camera later on, his response spoke volumes.
Community has been let down for so long, whether it's by the local government, whether it's by the national government, whether it's by the local authorities. Our community has been badly let down, our community has been badly neglected, we've suffered massively from underinvestment.
Fires go on behind him, and that's the fault of the community for letting people down. No scorn for those responsible, no emphasis on the thugs who perpetrated the riot. No, Mr. Ali would have you believe that a convoy of ping-pong and snooker tables would have solved this clearly deep-rooted problem. We've seen the horrendous scenes in Southport unfolding in the past few days, but it was only a few years ago that the then retiring head of Merseyside Police said cutting poverty and inequality is the best way to reduce crime. He said if he were given £5 billion to cut crime, he would spend £1 billion on law enforcement and £4 billion on tackling poverty. We spend £266 billion on welfare in this country, so there's no shortage of money to tackle poverty. Crime is now seen not as something to be dealt with by arresting criminals, but a sociological problem that ought to be studied, prodded at and pontificated about. We're told it's caused by poverty, which is an insult to those who are in poverty but don't commit crime. Indeed, it's for those people who live in poverty whose interests are best served by stopping crime. Nowadays, whenever great crime is committed, the platitudes are rolled out. We will not be divided. There is no place for this in our community. Even don't look back in anger. Well, I'm afraid we are divided. There evidently is a place for these crimes in our community, and people look back in frustration and anger because they want it to be stopped, and they want the establishment to stop applying nonsense Marxist theories to this breakdown of control and to do what is right, and to remember that the basic, the fundamental, the principal job of the state is defence of the realm and good order at home.